Have you ever wondered why, when you entered into this life, you sometimes feel as if a part of you is missing, as though there's something vast you once knew but can't quite recall? This mystery is not an accident. It is the veil of forgetfulness woven into the human experience on Earth. Imagine arriving here as an infinite soul carrying the wisdom of lifetimes, only to agree to a sacred initiation, an amnesia that conceals your true nature so you can step fully into the story of this world. Yet deep down, you knew the forgetting was temporary. You chose to be immersed in the density of Earth, where limitations and rules feel real, so that one day, in the great moment of awakening, you would remember who you truly are. This is the grand design, the play of forgetting and remembering. When you were born into a physical body, the veil gently descended. It split your awareness, cloaked your vastness, and made it seem as though you were separate, small, and dependent on the structures around you. It conditioned you to obey the ways of the world, to align with culture, systems, and rules that were already in place. From this state, many began to feel as if Earth was a place of chains, a prison of rules. But in truth, this veil was never punishment. It was a chosen passage. Your soul understood that in losing memory of your light, you would experience depth, contrast, and eventually the incomparable joy of reawakening. This is the path humanity has walked for ages. The illusion of separation, followed by the remembering that you were never truly bound. Look at how this illusion has played out through time. The pharaohs, emperors, kings and queens, religious leaders, warlords, corporations, and even the algorithms of today. All of these figures have risen as if to say, "We hold the power," but they are like actors upon a stage. They exist only because human consciousness has continued to fuel their presence with focus, belief, and fear. Without that investment of energy, they dissolve like smoke in the wind. Have you noticed how often history seems to repeat itself? Wars, oppression, financial struggles, divisions between people, the cycles come again and again. This is not because humanity is cursed or inherently flawed. It is simply because each generation inherits the illusions of the last. Children watch their elders live in fear, scarcity, and obedience, and they unconsciously take on the same patterns. It is like a spell renewed, century after century, and yet, all it takes is one being to wake up, to question the story, to see through the illusion. The moment someone shines the light of awareness on these old patterns, the cycle begins to crack. The repetition dissolves, and freedom ripples out, not just for that soul, but for all who come after. Think of the mystics, truth seekers, and awakened teachers throughout time. They broke the spell by turning within, by remembering their sovereign essence, and their remembrance opened doorways for countless others. Perhaps the most subtle form of bondage is the identification with the body itself. How often do you hear people say, "This is me," pointing to their body? The body, with all its needs and desires, becomes the master. Hunger, fear, desire, insecurity, all can trap you if you forget that you are not the body, but the infinite consciousness animating it. Your body is sacred, yes, but it is a vessel, an instrument for experience, not the prison of your spirit. The moment you shift your identification from body to soul, the shackles of fear around death, survival, and limitation begin to fall away. Another layer of illusion is economic bondage. From childhood, you are taught that survival and worth depend on wages, debt, credit, and social standing. People spend decades laboring in tasks that do not ignite their soul, just to keep feeding a system that reflects lack. Yet, here is the deeper truth. You are not a beggar asking for worth from the world. You are a co-creator with Source, and abundance flows naturally when you align with your higher nature. True wealth is not measured in numbers, but in the immeasurable creativity, love, and vitality of your soul. Religion and politics, too, have often shaped human history as instruments of control. Both promise freedom, yet ask for submission to their rules. When fear of eternal punishment or fear of losing societal approval governs you, you have handed over your sovereignty. Yet, the mystics remind us again and again that our divine connection requires no intermediary, no external lawgiver. It is already within us. By remembering this truth, you bypass the chains of dogma and see that Source has always been one breath away. Real liberation does not come from overthrowing rulers or creating new governments. It comes from remembering that no external system ever held real dominion over you. An awakened being could sit behind prison walls and still be freer than a citizen walking outside. Because freedom is a state of consciousness. Freedom arises when you recognize that you are one with Source and that no fear-based authority defines your worth. Many of you are here now as what some call starseeds, light workers, bringers of remembrance. You came not to force awakening upon others, but to radiate a higher frequency that reminds humanity of its true essence. By meditating, by living with compassion, by following your intuition, you transmit light codes that ripple through the collective field. Sometimes, your very presence uplifts someone near you, and they cannot explain why. That is your higher energy, awakening remembrance beyond words. Consider this. Arguing and debating rarely ignite awakening, but living in alignment with truth becomes a beacon far brighter than words. People notice your presence, your calmness, your steady joy, and their own soul begins to stir awake. This is the quiet revolution of light. At times, you may feel compelled to rescue others, to pull them out of the illusion. But every soul awakens at its own pace. Forcing can entangle you in karmic binds. Instead, shine like a lighthouse. Leave the door open. Let your love and presence glow, and allow them to choose their timing. Trust the wisdom of their soul, just as you trust your own. Daily practice is key. Each morning, remember your sovereignty. Declare, I am Source, embodied in human form. I am free. I am aligned to divine will. Let this intention prepare your consciousness, just as you care for your body each day. Before any action or decision, pause to surrender. Source, act through me, now. These small moments shift you from ego-driven reaction to divine alignment. Over time, old contracts with fear, scarcity, and projection melt away, and you walk lighter, clearer, freer. And never underestimate the power of group coherence. When many hearts join together in shared intention, whether in meditation, prayer, or simply visualizing peace, the effect ripples exponentially. You are literally tuning the collective field of humanity. This is soul-level activism, working on the source code of reality. When enough awakened beings align their focus, entire paradigms begin to crumble. Ultimately, the systems you believed held you captive are sustained, not by their own power, but by inner agreements humans have made with fear, lack, ego, and projection. The moment you revoke those agreements through conscious choice, the chains fall away. You step into sovereignty, no longer transfixed by illusion, but awake, shining, and free. This is your moment. This is why you came. Humanity stands at the threshold, some choosing the old cycles, others stepping into the new earth. Both paths are honored. But if you are hearing this now, it is because your soul has chosen remembrance. So breathe, stand tall, reclaim your power, because when even one soul remembers, the veil weakens for all. If this message touched you, trust that you were meant to hear it. Share it with a fellow seeker. Let your light ripple outward, and subscribe for more transmissions of awakening. Together, we rise. Together, we remember. And together, we return to the truth of who we are, infinite, sovereign, and free.